Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Welcome to the very last video of 2023. Let's cheers to the end of the year. Today's video, my friends, we are going to be talking about 2023's writing year for me, because it's been a big one. And we're also going to talk about some goals that I have for 2024 and some like kind of publishing schedule vibes for me coming up. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let me pull my bullet journal from 2023 and we're going to look at the goals that I set out at the beginning of the year for writing. And we're going to talk about whether or not I did each of them. Number one was start back into Project Dream world, pick up back number one, requery it and explore further series arcs. Did I do this? No. I had no time to revisit my middle grade that I've written. The project title is Project Dream, but the actual book title is Abby Carter and the Dreamlings. I would love one day to get back and query that and get back on the traditional publishing track with that one. But this year has been taken over by my indie pubbing endeavors. So I honestly just never had the time to devote enough effort into reopening up that project, looking back at it, and creating a better query package for agents. But maybe in 2024, I don't know if I'm going to make it a goal of 2024 to do, because I have some other stuff on the horizon, but it's there in my mind and I will get back to it one day, because I really love that series and I would love to, and that, well, I've only written the first one, but I would really love to get back to that world and eventually work on that middle grade series again. This zipper being so low is bothering me. It's not even that low. It's like here on my, but that looks better. Okay. New fleece, by the way. We love it. New fleece for the end of the year. The next goal on this list was publish a second story. So first goal completed, which we love. And the next one actually ended up being work on Arrowmount sequels. I didn't put publish A Little Luck on here because I didn't think it was going to publish 2 books in a year, but I did. I successfully worked on and published a second story and successfully worked on and published A Little Luck as well. I'm genuinely so pleased with the fact that I did this. Like, at the beginning of 2023, me had no idea I was going to do this. I was gonna have 2 books out in the world. She had no idea, but we fucking did it. And I'm so happy about it. This entire year has been a journey of learning the self-publishing process, learning the formatting process, learning how I write on a tight deadline, learning the ins and outs of everything that I needed to know about self-publishing, and taking you guys with me on basically every little thing that I did. I chronicled that in a lot of vlogs this year. That was where the real me came out as I was working and editing on both of these beautiful stories. This was an unexpected, wonderful year for my writing, because not only did I successfully become a published author, which has been my dream since I was a little kid, I did it twice. I'm just generally so happy with where we are going with these books, and I am so excited to see where 2024 takes us. Publish a second story, check, did. Work on Arrowmount sequels, check and did, and thus published said sequel with A Little Luck. The next one down here, I have work on Sage's story, which I didn't end up doing this year, but is a big goal for 2024, so don't worry about it. It will come up. And then pick back up Project Dragon, which again, I just didn't have enough time this year. So Project Dragon and Project Dream. Project Dream is my middle grade. Project Dragon is my epic high fantasy book that I have on the docket. I think about it regularly. It is my soul book. It is a book that I've been wanting to write for a really long time, so I'm not really worried about getting to it too fast. It's one that I want to devote the time to and actually really dedicate good possible crafting hours. And what I'm doing with my cozy fantasy books is just making my craft better and better and better. So when I go back to Project Dragon, hopefully that one will be wonderful. Will I have time in 2024 to do that? I don't know. So those were the goals that I set in 2023. So the only one that I successfully did complete was publishing a second story and then working on Arrowmount sequel. sequels, which is totally fine because I am so proud of the writing year that I had with these two. So we started out in January with editing and working on a second story, which kind of carried into the months leading up to April. April was kind of an off month because I didn't really have anything else to do. And it was just like, it had pre-orders open for a second story and things like that. And then May is when it came out, May 11th. And then after that, I started working in on A Little Luck, which was on a much tighter timeline than a second story was. It took me about 11 months working on a second story to get it out into the world because I started it back in June 2022 and had the first draft done in like 25 days and then published it in May. A Little Luck, I started it. It did technically timeline-wise end up being about 11 months as well, but I feel like I had such a short amount of time to actually work on it because I didn't really devote the time for the first 5 months of working on this to actually working on it because I was so preoccupied with getting a second story out in the world. So what I've discovered with working on these two is that I can't really work on two things at once. I need to just devote the time to one project at a time and get that out and do it well and do it solidly and give it the time it needs to. But I am really quite happy with the product that I came out with A Little Luck in the shorter timeline that I did work on it for. So I think March is when I picked it back up to start and then continued, had the summer of editing and then had it out for you guys in October. And I am genuinely pleased with that. It was originally supposed to come out in September for you guys, but I pushed it in my mind to October before I released any days. And I'm glad I did that because September was nice to have as a buffer month to just get it as polished as I could while working with an editor and that kind of stuff. So I think also working on these books and having the writing year that I did have has allowed me to really see, not only in 2022 and 2023, so the past 2 years, has allowed me to really see what kind of a writer I am and what times of the year I am a better, more productive writer. Because both years, 2022 and 2023, once we hit October, once we hit September, my productivity goes really far down. I think it's simultaneously the fact that I work 2 jobs and having a summer off of one of those jobs because I work part-time as a piano teacher and we only really work the school year with kids in Canada, so September to June. Because I have most of June, July and August off of that and I focus so heavily on writing during those 3 summer months essentially and in the spring leading up to that, when I get to the fall time, when my job kicks back in again and fall is happening and seasonal depression kicks in, my fall writing is so lackluster. I don't know, like I thought maybe last year, 2022 was a fluke because I was getting used to anxiety meds for the very first time and I was dealing with that mainly and burnout and all this kind of stuff. So I thought maybe this year would be better. And by the time I got to October, November, I had grand plans of writing the entire first draft of book 3 of the Air Amount book series, which did not happen. I got about 25,000 words in and I've just had no will to write or work on anything creatively the past few months, which I've allowed myself to feel, which I'm really happy that I did. And I didn't force myself through the story. I was thinking about it. I was, living in the world every once in a while. I ended up, coming up with like brainstorm notes and that kind of thing, but I just didn't force myself to write for these past few months. And I needed that. I really needed that as a person. So I think I now know how my writing brain works. Now looking like retrospectively back into even 2021, because in 2021, I was going through it mentally in the fall and I was moving and things were just shitty. And then 2022 adjusting to new meds. And now I am happy, I'm adjusted to the meds, I'm doing really well. But again, once we get to the end of the year, I'm tired. My brain is done. And I think having the stress and the epicness that was the summer of editing with A Little Luck, I needed that break. Creatively, I published 2 fucking books this year. I needed the break. So I'm really glad that I did. But now knowing this knowledge and that kind of stuff, I think going forward into 2024, my plans around writing are gonna change a little bit. And I'm not gonna be so hard on myself if I don't write a ton or work on things creatively in October to December, because last quarter of the year is kind of a write-off anyways for me creatively. So that brings in my goals for 2024. So, number one, I need to write Arrowmount Book 3. That is the top goal. That is the one. I have my cover artist lined up, hopefully for the summertime. My original plan was to have it published this coming fall if I had written that first draft this year. Since I don't have that first draft done, I'm going to hold off on telling you when it's going to be published seasonally. It'll either be fall or spring 2025. We will see. What I'm going to do in 2024, beginning of the year, hopefully in January, I would love to get back into a good routine of writing and doing live streams again on the weekends, like live writing sprints with you guys, because I love doing those and they're so productive for me. Even if it's the only time every week that I write, I love it. I love having at least one day a week that I do write with you guys. So fingers crossed that I can do that and I can pick that up again in January. But what I'm going to be doing with Book 3, Arrowmount Book 3, Project Favor in 2024 is that I'm going to hopefully have that first draft done in the first quarter of the year. And then once I have it done and I give it a little rest and I start working on draft 2, ahead of going to betas, ahead of anything else, I'm going to see timeline-wise when I want to publish it. That's all gonna depend on when I finish that first draft and how good the second draft editing, big story stuff goes. I now know that I can do all of this editing story stuff on a tighter timeline because I've done it now with both of these books. I mean, A Second Story was 11-month timeline and this one was technically a 8-month timeline, 7. Yeah, I started working on it in November and it was published in October. So technically both of them were 11-month timelines, but the amount of time that I devoted to this one was like 7 months. So I know that I can do a tighter timeline. I just don't want to again. I would like to give it a little more time so that it becomes something that I'm really proud of. And not that I'm saying that I'm not proud of A Little Luck, but I want to give it more time to breathe and give myself more time to breathe as well. Once I have third book underway and I am working on it, in between that, when I'm not working on it, when it's on like a rest period, I'm going to be working on a couple other things. I have a secret project that I'm working on that I have never talked about really, and I won't unless something comes of it. And I also want to start working on Sage's story. And Sage's story is going to be an interesting one because that is the next thing that I want to publish after the third book in the Arrowmount book series. So I'm gonna do the 3 books. So 1, 2, whenever book 3 is out, that's gonna be another one. And then I'm gonna start publishing Sage's stories and we're gonna see how those line up after that. But I think my original plan was to do that one in 2025. So we'll see if 2025 becomes another 2-book year. Again, I need to write it. But I think the thing with Sage's story, so what I'm gonna be doing in 2024 is not only plotting book 1, obviously, because I want to write that one. So the goal is to plot and write at least draft 1 for book 1 in Sage's story. I would like to have it maybe even draft 3 by the end of the year, which would be perfect, and then have it in a 2025 release kind of a timeline. I also know that I need to outline the entire trilogy and make sure that I have enough story there to do a trilogy, you know? And I really want to do the trilogy correctly. In a perfect world, I would write the trilogy before publishing it. So my idea is possibly 1, outlining it and then outlining each book individually and then writing the first draft of each book. So just going full throttle through Sage's story, top to bottom, however many hundreds of thousands of words that ends up being, and then working on each book and polishing each one simultaneously so that they all flow together, they all work together really well as a series. Now I know that's gonna take me a really long time, so I think 2024, the goal, as I said, have the first draft at least of Sage's story number 1 done, written, amazing. And also to have the outline of the entire series done in 2024. And then in 2025, we're gonna start doing the whole trilogy of Sage's story because that's gonna be really the only thing that I'll be working on at that point because I don't know what book 4 is going to be, if there is even going to be a book 4 in this series. I have an idea for it, but it's not one that's like driving me to write it. So eventually, probably in the future, there will be because I never want to stop writing books in this series and I want to do like short stories and novella collections and all that kind of stuff, but that's future stuff for for me. So 2024, the focus is Project Favor, of course, book 3, getting that one done and ready, maybe published. I'm not going to put it as a goal to publish it because I know myself and I want to give myself more time because of what I went through with these 2 books. I just want to give myself more time, which is also absolutely terrifying. I'm going to be entirely honest with you guys, because as an indie author, I don't want people to forget about me. I want to continue to grow my readership and have people read these books and fall in love with the world and maybe find a little luck and realize there's another one in the world, or find a second story and same thing, there's another one after it, you know? And it scares me that I'm not 100% gonna have a book out in the world next year. But I know myself and my writing now. And previously it's taken me years and years and years to write books, as is evidenced by Project Dragon, because Project Dragon is just, I haven't worked on it in a year, and it's taken me over a year to get through as far as I've gotten. I've only got 40,000 words down in that draft, which is not even close to halfway. So it's a time. I know myself now with these cozy fantasies. I can write them a lot faster, which is really nice for an indie author, but I'm a little scared that people are going to forget about me in 2024. And then in 2025, I'm going to have to like pull out my socks again and like go full hog like I was doing with a second story to even get my feet in the door with people knowing me. But hopefully in 2024, the amount of marketing that I do and talking about my books, and maybe, you know, having more creators talk about my books and getting more readers and just, you know, keeping the ball rolling, hopefully that'll keep me afloat enough in the writing world, and getting enough people interested in book 3 will be good for a release if I don't have it published in 2024. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of not having a book out next year. So I'm like trying to convince myself that I can have a book out next year, but we will see. We will see. Maybe I'll have a book out in December of 2024. That would be wild. Oh God, having to publish a book at the end of the year, now that I know how unproductive I am in the last part of the year, ooh, that'd be scary. Goal number 1, Aramount book 3. Goal number 2, Sage's Story book 1, first draft at least, and also outlining the entire arc of that series. And then I also have another goal for myself, which is The Secret Project, but you guys don't need to worry about that. Other than these 3, I don't think I'm gonna have time for anything else. But if I do, I would love to revisit Project Dragon and Project Dream. But those aren't gonna be actual goals. They're just maybes. They're just maybes. And that's okay. But oh my gosh, I forgot to talk about all the short story stuff that I did this year. Those are my goals for 2024. That's the goals that I talked about for 2023, how that went, how the goal setting went and what I ended up doing this year. What did I actually do this year outside of my just like self-publishing stuff? I ended up being reached out to by Holly Rhiannon, who is one of 2 of the creators of the Stygian Collection, or the Stygian Society, which is a short story collection, a horror anthology that features one of my short stories. And I was so pleased that I was accepted, and it's great. I have a story in the middle here. It's called Where the Buildings Cease to Stand. It's a story that I originally wrote back in university that I revisited when Holly reached out to me, because it is a horror anthology and I don't write horror. I write fantasy. So I was like, I don't have anything. I don't really write scary. I do enjoy including horror elements and stuff. But then I remembered my short story from university and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna revisit that. So I did. And it was published in the Stygian Collection, which has been genuinely so lovely. I've met so many amazing creators through the creation of the Stygian Collection. Not only Holly, but just a ton of people. And joining this community just makes me so happy, because this is a AuthorTube specific anthology. So it's all creators that are all online in some kind of a way with AuthorTube, which is just so genuinely lovely. And not only that, I've met Holly in person. She came to my city because she used to live here. This is where she's from. We had a little writing evening together. It's so nice to know people in this community and to actually meet people that I know online in real life. That's so cool. Again, thank you so much to the Stygian Society for including me in this and thinking of me. It was such a delight, and just an extra added bonus to the year that I was not expecting at all. As someone who struggles a lot to write short form content, this was just genuinely so fun to be a part of. On top of that short story, I have been following the Wingraph Cozy Fantasy Literary Magazine for a couple years now, 1 year, something like that, when Nathaniel Webb, who is one of the editors for Wingraph, reached out to me to be a partner and to talk about the very first edition, the first issue that came out. I believe it was last year. This year, I noticed their call for short stories was back open, because sometimes they have so many that they don't need to open the call for every issue. They can just continue working on it, etc. And so I decided I was going to write a short story in the Arrowmount world for a submission. They did. They did. So there is an Arrowmount short story in the world. In here, it is called The Story Collector, and I've been honored by Wingraph that they included my story first out of all the stories. There's an interview in here first, but my story is first up in the lineup. It's The Story Collector right here. It is a second-person POV story about a story collector, this kind of very almost bard-like figure in Arrowmount that is very rare. There's not many of them left anymore, but this one person, the story collector, is you, the second POV, comes to Arrowmount on the hunt for stories and ends up sitting down with Callian, one of the figures from A Second Story and The Little Luck that you see. It was so fun to dabble in that character specifically and have a story of theirs reflected in this way, and it was also really fun to dabble in second POV. So you guys can go pick it up right now. You can order this and Stygian Collection, both of these right now, and you can read more of my work out there right now. Very exciting. But yeah, like, what a year of things. Like, I just a genuine like, look at how much I've done this year. I am so pleased. Like, 2023 has been such an incredible year for myself, for my own personal endeavors with career stuff like this, creative stuff, the content that I want to be doing, the things that I want to be doing as a person for the rest of my life, and the stories that I want to be telling and dabbling in. The fact that I did this much in 2023, insanity. And I'm so excited to be taking you guys along with me into 2024, into 2025 and beyond, and seeing how big this stack of accomplishments can get. Because I've published 2 novels and 2 short stories this year. The goal was 1. And now we're here. I'm genuinely so pleased, and I know it's probably not humble, or it's a little narcissistic of me to say, or whatever the word is, but I'm so proud of myself and I'm so happy for me. Like, what a year, you know? I think genuinely, between friends, you and me, it's always an interesting conversation with people like my therapist or my friends. And it's always like, you feel in your 20s, I don't know if it continues in your 30s because I'm only 26. You feel so unaccomplished and left behind by the world in so many ways as you're trying to find your place in life and trying to find your groove. This year, I found a little bit of a groove. I'm so happy that I did. I've been in my place now, my own place that I bought with my own money, that I own. I have now lived here for 2 years. I've accomplished a lot with work in my work life. I still have 2 jobs, but that's fine. All that kind of stuff. I'm very happy with all my friends and how much time I've devoted to them and myself this year. Sure, there are aspects of my life that are still lacking in my eyes, and it's interesting to be 26 and to still be connected to all the people you grew up with and seeing how their lives are going right now and seeing them accomplish very different things, very wonderful things. Like, someone that I went to high school with is a professional athlete, and seeing them have connections with the sports teams and the sponsors and all that kind of stuff is so interesting. And someone that I used to consider a best friend in high school is married now. Another one has a kid and is engaged. Like, it's it's baffling to see what other people are doing. And my best friend from high school, she is absolutely excelling in her career and she's doing stuff that she's proud of, which is just incredible. And I'm so proud of her for that as well. So, and all my friends in my close friend group are doing fantastic in their lives. And, you know, we're all trying so hard and we're killing the game, all of us. No matter how little we feel that in the grand scheme of things, we are really doing it. And I'm so proud of all of us. I am so proud of you guys as well. Everyone that I've spoken to this year, all the things that have happened to you guys, that you take the time to comment on my videos and tell me about your day or what happened to you or what books you've read. I am so proud of every single one of us for doing this and continuing to do our lives and keep going, you know? It's genuinely so lovely. Where was I going with this? But yeah, I am so proud of myself for 2023 and I'm so excited to see what 2024 has. So I think this last bit of this video, I have been inspired by Allison Pages, who is a YouTuber here on the internet that I have been absolutely obsessed with this year. I was watching a lot of their back list and they do this video at the end of every year where they talk to their future self. I kind of want to do that. I want to talk to my future self and kind of set these goals and like see what happens and then revisit it next year when we come back around to this time of year where we're reflecting and setting goals and stuff like that. So, hey, future self. How are you? It's officially December 30th, 2023 that I am filming this video right now. I am 26 years old. I have published so many goddamn things. I have 2 books out in the Aramount book series and 2 short stories out, one of them in the Aramount world and one of them in a horror type of genre. How was your year? How was your writing year? Did we end up publishing Project Favor this year, or did we decide to give ourselves more time and publish it in spring? So are you gearing up for publishing? How is the secret project going? Have you worked on it anymore? Have you done anything with it? Please let me know. Also, I am desperate to know what book 3 for Aramount Books looks like. How amazing was Tess this year? Tess Brennan is so fucking talented and I'm so genuinely pleased that we managed to lock her down for these 2 and I'm so excited to see what they come up with in the next year for book 3 and for Sage's stories and everything else that we end up deciding to do. I'm so excited for that. So how beautiful is it? Is it absolutely everything you've ever wanted? Because I love that. How was your reading this year? I know that's not what this video is for, but how did your reading go? Did you find any brand new favorite books of all time to add to that list of yours? I know that this year we discovered that Gideon the Ninth was our favorite book of all time upon 3rd reread, which bumped The Starless Sea out of that spot. But did we end up actually rereading The Starless Sea this year? Or was that in your reading plans? I'm not sure because it's not in my reading plans as of right now, but I know that 2023 me would love to reread that book at some point and see if it still stands as one of my favorite top books of the ever. So that'd be really cool. How was your reading journal? How did that go? I had just today have spent so many hours working on that and I'm so excited to see how creative and how wonderful we can get and how thick that journal is going to look at the end of the year. Genuinely, I'm so excited for it. Did we do work on Sage's story? I think I would love to have done at least the first draft. Did we do more than that? Did we end up doing second drafts, third drafts? How are we doing with Sage's story? How is it looking for publishing? I'm so excited to explore that story and to see where we can go with our beloved little tiefling, or I should say fiendling, because we have to change all of our terms in our book this year. Oh my god, that's a whole story. Outside of writing and more life stuff, are we still working as a teacher? Do we still have the 2 jobs? Because I know at this point in my life I am getting tired of being a teacher. We've been a teacher for how many years now? 12 at this point. I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired of teaching, but I hope that your teaching year went really well eitherwise and that the concert at the end of the year was lovely. I hope that you are happy still. I hope that you are not beating yourself up for anything. And I hope that even if dating in 2024 doesn't go the way we want it to at the moment, that you are still happy with who you are, because that is the most important part and the most important place to be in our lives. Because I think that's something that I've realized. I'm getting a little emotional. Oh no. I think that's one thing that I've realized this year is that I'm okay with being just me. Even though it hurts a little bit. Can't believe I'm gonna put this on the internet.com, but I hope you're happy, future me. That's really it. Because I am happy now. So even though this doesn't really look like I'm happy, I promise I am. I promise I am. It's just end of year reflections that get me. I don't know if you're the same still, but what else? What else can I ask you about? How did piano go this year for you? Did you end up doing your exam in June or August, or are you pushing it further because we still have to, learn those 3 songs at this point. We still have to master them. So probably no exam in 2024, but I hope we are really, really close to it if we didn't end up doing an exam in 2024. I didn't think I was gonna get this emotional filming this video. Oh God. How do people do this? Talk to their future selves. But yeah, I am so proud of you for deciding to go back and study music again, because I didn't realize how much I missed it. And I know we've been studying it at this point for like almost 2 years now, so it's a weird thing to say, but I am proud of myself for that. I'm proud of you, future Jen. Oh my God. And I'm proud of the content that I filmed and that I've put on the internet this year. I hope that you are still proud of that and that you've done some cool stuff this year. I hope that you are in a place with your content on TikTok and YouTube that you are happy to be, not necessarily numbers wise, but just like community wise and engagement wise, and the amount of people that you've met through the year. Because I can say genuinely this year, I have met and had incredible conversations with so many beautiful, wonderful people on the internet that I would have never met if it wasn't for the internet and what we are doing. So I am so genuinely pleased that this is a thing and that we do this as one of our many, many jobs, even though it doesn't pay at the moment. Yes, okay. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Hopefully 2024 me, you are not a sobbing mess as I am right now, but I really hope that we've had a great year and that the world is also a less terrible place, because I know looking back at 2022 me, she had no idea what 2023 was going to be and what the world was going to go through. I really hope that the world has kind of gotten a little better by next Christmas. I don't have high hopes for that because the world is always an awful place, but hopefully things aren't terrible where you are. Anyways, Jen, I hope you have a lovely end of your year whenever you're watching this. I hope your 2025 when you're watching this goes well. And for my friends currently watching this, watching me break down, thank you so much for watching. And thank you for watching all this year as well. You've all helped me achieve dreams this year. So, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. Yes, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a good start to your 2024. You guys are the best. I love you so, so much. And I hope that if you're new, if you watched all the way to the end of this, that you've decided to maybe join my little corner of the internet, see where 2024 takes me. And I'm so excited to see where 2024 takes all of us this year. Okay, friends, I'm done. I will see you guys in 2024. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for hanging out with me as I've achieved dreams and have continued to churn out content and talk to you guys about the books that I'm reading. Because how cool is that I could say one of my many things that I do is I get to talk about books. Maybe one day I'll be able to do it for a living, but as for right now, I get to hang out with you guys whenever I want to. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading and writing, because this video was about writing. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.